Sat Sri Akal, Namaskar, Adab, and Shalom. As we are stepping into next week, which is this week, uh, you know, the events which are turning around in the rest of the world, and then within the United States, it is so much at rapid speed. It is so hard to keep tab on it that by the time you read one thing, something else happens. But send me an email at hstour@gmail.com to stay in touch. Any questions, anything. And the other thing which I definitely would like to say here, I have said it before, that I share the information based on what I read in New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, Daily News, New York Post, New York Newsday, Foreign Affairs, Foreign Policy, Guardian, Times, Vanity Fair, New York Magazine, and the whole plethora of all these printed or online new like Zateo. I listen to them, I read wherever I can read, and then I bring it out to you so that I can share the information with you who may not have that much time to either read all of it or otherwise may not even know about some of those websites and the magazine. The reason is because it is very important that we should know everything in today's world. We are living actually in a bubble right now, a social media bubble, and algorithm which is used by anybody, doesn't matter who it is, whether it is Instagram, which is Facebook, or Google, or Apple, doesn't matter which apps you are using. So they actually, behind the scene, the algorithm is tuned to what you are interested in or what you have been browsing, and they put out that in the front for you to read. So for a person like me, it becomes really hard to get the other side of the opinion. I know where I stand on certain things with the way I look at certain things. But when I do that kind of research, some of the things with some of the views which may be on the other side of that line, they probably will not show up on my computer or on my laptop or on my iPhone until and unless I specifically look for that. And there is one thing which I always talked about and said about, and that is whenever there was a protest, when somebody who was, if I may say, was right-wing speaker, the universities were forced to cancel their speeches. Now the foot is on the other foot. The shoe is on the other foot. Now, again, I think it has become a habit of the so-called left people. First, it was the people who were on the right side. They were complaining about it, that we're not getting much attention. Now it is the other way around. Now it is the left side. There are institutions which are built based on that. America became America based on those institutions, those thoughts, those principles. It just sort of like veered away from that neutrality. And the results of veering away from that neutrality is that now pendulum is going extremely to the other side. Okay? And because the pendulum is going extremely to the other side, the people who should be taking some stand, they are afraid to take a stand because They don't know what would happen tomorrow. If they take stand on this side and tomorrow it's the other side, they are damned. If they do this side and then tomorrow it's on that side, they are damned. So basically it is, you are damned either way. It doesn't matter whether you do it or you don't do it. So in these kind of situations, you definitely look for somebody who can show the leadership and the leadership skills. And I personally believe I may not have agreed with everything with Harvard University, but right now what they are doing, they are showing the spine, the backbone, which is very rare to find in modern time anywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. If you are talking about anything, criticizing anything about the government, you just become the first target of the government. And my philosophy has been, I will share my personal experience with you here. I knew that my elder son was a really good soccer player, no doubt about it, no question about it. He was a born soccer player. My younger son became soccer player by his grit and his determination and efforts. And he was Rookie of the Year, first year of college, and for the remainder of 3 years, he was the captain of the soccer team at NYU Poly. And every time after the game, when he will walk up to me, I will talk about, where he needs some improvement, what he needs to make the changes or think about, and stuff like that. One day he said to me, he said, "Papi, I don't get it. I come out of the game, every parent admires my game except you." And I told him, because I love you and I want you to succeed beyond what you are. These people, they don't have any interest in that. Their interest is today's game, game over, done. For me, no. For me, I want you to get better and better and better till you are at the top of the game. So with that philosophy in my mind, I have always picked up the issues which nobody probably will talk about it, or they don't want to talk about it. Whether those issues are here in the United States or those issues are back home in India. Whether it is Punjab or rest of India, or whether it is here New York or rest of the United States. And even rest of the world, some of the opinions which I talk about is based on that. Because my love for, Punjab, where I was born and I grew up, my love for the United States, especially New York, and also my love for rest of the world, including where India is also included. It comes down to a point, yeah, I can always talk about praise the people, but is praising the answer? No. You need to talk about where the balance should be. And if that balance is not discussed, then there is an issue. So having said that, first let me say this thing that, Met Gala happened in New York this past weekend and yesterday. And I'm really proud of 2 people from India who attended the Met Gala, 3 actually. Shah Rukh Khan, Diljit Dosanjh, and Priyanka Chopra. And interestingly, they did show Shah Rukh Khan, majority of the media, in the pictures and otherwise, They did show Priyanka Chopra, but they did not show Daljit Dosanjh the way they did show other people. So to me, that is something which I felt like this is not fair. But then again, we need to understand that any media which is out there, they're out there to make money. They are not out there to lose money. When you have the money interest and the media trying to independently report, there will always be tension. There will always be, going to be those issues and how to address those issues. So if you watch my show or you have been watching my show for some time, at the end of my show, I always say good night and good luck. That actually goes to, that's a credit to a CBS show. There was a movie made where George Clooney played the role of that, anchor who actually used to do the show on CBS. And during the Nixon time, the time came in on the CBS where the pressure was on the CBS to not to report certain news. And this anchor, he had his whole thing ready, including his resignation letter. Let's take a break. After the break, I will tell you exactly what happened and also then talk about this, that what we need to do in today's time right after the break. Welcome back to Mainstream. And just where I was talking about this good night and good luck situation, the owners of the CBS, the CEO, wanted that segment not to be shown or talked about. The anchor actually was waiting for green light to go ahead for the show. And in the meantime, before the show, there was time, he got called into the boss's office. He went in there. The boss actually wanted to not to talk about it. And he told at that point that I'm going to do it. Here is my resignation. If I get the green light for my show to go on, then I will take it back. And if it does not, then accept my resignation. So today, this is the time which we are living again right now. President Trump has sued CBS for $20 billion. The person who was in charge of 60 Minutes, he did a segment on Trump which was critical of him. And there was a pressure from CBS on him to make some changes or whatever it was. That is not public. But he resigned. He said, on my integrity and my dedication to the news and to the media is much more than just me alone. So he resigned. So that also shows that those people who capitulated to Donald Trump, which includes Columbia University, and other universities. Now they're asking, he's asking for more. There were law firms who capitulated to him. There are law firms who used to do pro bono cases. They have stopped taking pro bono cases because they are afraid that they will get sued by Trump. So, question then it comes down to, he already have executive, Congress, whether it is House of Representatives or the senators, they are not doing anything. Democrats are not in a position to do much anyway, but whatever they can, they are not. And the courts are also, to some extent, going along with Trump, along with just a ruling which came from Supreme Court. It is not really a ruling, it is opinion that President Trump has banned transgender to serve in US Army. There used to be don't ask, don't tell policy, then there was open policy, and now there is no policy. So Supreme Court actually said that they will not take this, and his ban on this will stay there till ultimately the case reaches to the Supreme Court, and then the court will decide. In the meantime, Trump's team was planning and doing everything after he lost the first election, that how to do the stuff, jam the courts, jam everything with the cases so that they cannot do anything while I'm still in power, still I'm the president, and whatever executive order he will sign, they will stay till the next president comes in and either reverses some of them or even goes worse than that. If that happens, this is how the dictatorships evolve. When there were issues about talking, issues about freedom of your speech, you can't speak anymore. If you do, you are damned. If you don't, you are still damned. So those people who were out there, who actually stood the ground and who said that we will do what is right, there are very few people left right now who really are willing to take a stand or do something about it. So AOC and Bernie Sanders is a senator, AOC is a House of Representative. She's a congresswoman, and she's here, right here from Queens. Okay, so she is being threatened, not Bernie Sanders. Why AOC? Because she is not a Caucasian. Nobody is talking about it. They will not say it because then it will become an issue. And Pam Bondi recommended to DOJ to look into her, that how come a bartender became a member of US House of Representatives, defeating one of the most powerful congressmen at that point in US, Joe Crowley, and now she is openly challenging by telling the people their rights, which means what? It is basically what I just said before, that if you are talking about your rights, you are in danger. If you don't talk about it, you are in danger anyway. You know? So, one thing is for sure that everybody is on an edge to some extent. And I was talking about Colombia. They just announced they are cutting on research because they were going to get $400 million from government as a grant for doing the research. They are canceling, they are laying off scientists. You know, America actually was at top of the world when it came down to inventing the stuff, including medicines. Yeah, on IT technology, China actually caught up on a certain sector. China may be ahead of US. But the policies which are being implemented actually right now, they are not going to help the United States. They are actually to damage the future generations of United States. And interestingly, you know, when there are announcements about new investment in the United States, new factories in the United States, that is all which was already in the pipeline because of Joe Biden's policies and, you know, the rules and regulations which he got passed through the Congress, whether House of Representatives or the Senate, and those were converted into the law, including investment into future chips, precious metals, and everything. But they were doing it quietly. They were not talking about it. Now, because those investments they were in the pipeline, one at a time is clearing up. So, lo and behold, we have this president who loves to be on the TV, who conducts his diplomacy on the TV, who conducts his business with the foreign countries on the TV, claims that I'm the one who is getting it done. I'm the one who is bringing the jobs back to United States. Those lost jobs, they are never going to come back to the United States because those are low-paying, dirty jobs, and those dirty jobs were always done by the immigrants. The people who are born here, especially Caucasian, they actually think that they are, you know, superior, and they should not be doing those kind of jobs. And that is an issue for them to move forward. A person who comes to the United States without money in his pocket, he settles down here, he raises the family, he buys the house, and he succeeds. In the meantime, when he buys the house, his next door neighbors, they look at him and look down on him, including the person you're looking at. When I moved into that neighborhood where I live, yeah, I had issues also. Okay? They will not look at how the person succeeded and where we lacked. They just were not like, no, he or she should not be there. And that's why the movement forward in the United States, you will see that damage being done in coming time period in 10 to 20 years. I hope it may be reversed after President Trump is gone. But even to reverse, it's going to take time. So, having said all that, coming to the issues which are very current issues, you know, which I talked about, Columbia, I want to share with you again about, which I always talked about at Columbia University, that Iranian President Mohammad Ahmadinejad, when he came to attend UN session, Columbia invited him to speak at the university. The mayor At that time, Rudy Giuliani, he said no, he should not be speaking. The dean of Columbia University respectfully told the mayor that, Mr. Mayor, thanks, but no thanks. I don't tell you how you run the city, and I don't need your advice to how to run the school or the university, whatever you want to call it. So if I will need it, I will ask you. And I just wonder if the current president of the United States, Iran, comes to the United States, what would happen? I know last time when President Trump was the president, he actually refused to give a visa for the president, whereas the UN Charter requires that the visa should be issued. And one of the reasons why UN headquarters were established right here, out of all other reasons, was that any head of the state from any other country can come and speak if they want to. So come September, I'm talking about right this coming September, we are in May, June, July, and August, October, then September, we have only 3 months. We will see how it happens. And also right now, while we're doing the show, Prime Minister Carney from Canada is here. So let us take a break. After the break, I will be right back. Welcome back to Mainstream. So let us talk a little bit about India-Pakistan situation, okay? To begin with, what happened in Pahalgam, everybody's talking about it. To say 56 inch ki chhati chahiye and to do right thing are two different things. Home Minister Amit Shah was in Jammu and Kashmir, and he was saying that everything is fine. The checkposts were removed, I think, in January in that area, and Pahalgam actually is one of the top tourist spots. The killers really don't have any religion to begin with. Number two, after the incidents, the whole Kashmir actually condemned it. Everybody, including, the people who were against the government's policies, whichever policies the government was playing there. But what the government did, they have no interest in minorities supporting them because they don't care about it. Their interest is to just control the majority votes in India based on that religion. Supreme Court actually had ordered that no house should be demolished without due process, but they still went and demolished the houses on we suspect this is the house where the guy came from, and that's it. They rounded up a plethora of people. On the media they say about 2,000. I have no idea how much they did, because whatever comes in the media is always controlled by the government, especially when the media is government's media. But doesn't matter whether those are 1,000 or 2,000, based on what? Just because they suspected him? I was reading about this, when a law for, to allow, except if you are a Muslim, if you come to India and you want asylum, they will grant, but if you are a Muslim, you will not get it. When that bill was being discussed, I think it was 2020 or so, there were protests, a lot of them. In New Delhi, they arrested 2 people, one boy and one girl, both Muslim, and not a single FIR has been registered. They are still behind the bars and nothing is being done about that. But in the meantime, a BJP leader who actually instigated and started that, no, nobody talked about it till the court ordered to register a case against him also. So that shows the situation on the ground in India, which goes to what I was saying earlier, that the government's machinery, how it is used for certain people. So what happens is when you start doing that, the brain drain actually starts, which means what? You don't have the most capable, most intelligent person to advise you. You know, who will be your best friend if you are an administrator? The person who will criticize you, who will put up the facts to you and tell you, if you do this, these are the benefits, but at the same time, these are the drawbacks. But nobody wants to hear the drawbacks. Lo and behold, the all-party meet was called. Everybody from every party in India was there except Prime Minister was not there. And when Congress created, that kurta pajama without the person in it, which referenced to the Prime Minister, the BJP was complaining about it and they were up in arms, how you can do that. On the one hand, Prime Minister is saying this is the most important issue which needs to be addressed right now, and he will do whatever he can under his powers. And now it is already more than 2 weeks, nothing has happened. And I doubt if much would happen, because there are some other reasons also. It's always easy to emotionally blackmail the communities, but looking at the larger picture, it's not easy. I did mention Chatti Singhpura, and I'm looking at Pahalgam from the same angle, that J.D. Vance was there in India and they did it knowingly or unknowingly. Intelligence was there, but no steps were taken. If intelligence was there and no steps were taken, then whose fault it is? It is the government's fault. And which government? In this case, it is the central government, because central government controls the securities and the police in Jammu and Kashmir. So responsibility actually lies with the Prime Minister's office. And no steps were taken. And now, in Punjabi they say, Sap nangya lakir nu pitti jao. You can beat up that, the trace where the snake went from, but snake is gone. Those people, they did whatever they wanted to do. You had intelligence and you let it happen. Same thing was in Pulwama. Had the intelligence, they did not do anything. Why? Because staying in power was more important than anything. I saw a picture yesterday, which actually was posted previously also, but it was picked up by one of the media outlet from India again. This female with chudiyan on her, who has gotten recently married, was sitting next to dead body of her husband. And there was no security to be seen around. But in the meantime, the government now is demolishing the houses and the people are cheering up, instead of stopping the government from why you are penalizing the innocent. When you talk about breeding extremists, this is how it happens. You create a whole string of people who feel victimized, And because they feel they are victimized, they actually take that route. They are like, we are going to get killed anyway. So why don't we get killed by doing whatever they are taught to do? So instead of bringing those people into mainstream by providing proper means of employment, proper education, treating them equal citizens, no, intentionally a divide is being created, not just by the government, even by the media. When you talk about that kind of issue with the Hindus and Muslims, or Muslims did it, that reminds me when things were happening in Punjab, even it was the government's hand behind everything, most of the things, if I may say, not everything. But it was always blamed on Sikhs did it. And guess what? Even at the peak of extremism, Punjab had less number of casualties and crime rate as compared to some other states in India. But nobody talked about it, and nobody will talk about it. Same way now in Jharkhand, in Odisha and Andhra Pradesh area, Naxalite movement's name is being used to pick up the people and killing them. Because why? There are people who just want a promotion, and they will get promotion based on, okay, what did you do? Oh, I killed so many number of Naxalites. Okay, here you go, you are promoted. So that actually creates more issue than solving the issue. Yeah, you will probably decimate the young cadre at that point, but people don't forget those things. We should not forget that either, and this is not the way to take care of the things. Let us take a break. After the break, I will be right back. Welcome back to Mainstream. So now let us also talk about what is happening in the Middle East and in Africa, and of course, Ukraine. I got to give credit to President Trump here in the United States and Prime Minister Modi in India. They are so good communicators to divert the attention from the real issues. President Trump actually has succeeded in, by not doing what needs to be done and bringing up the things which don't need to be there on the front, and in the back a lot of things are happening. Israel got a blank check from Donald Trump to do whatever they want to do in Gaza, which means what? Israel is going to totally take control of Gaza, wipe out everything, and the people within that strip, God knows what they're, what's in store for them. I have no idea. I can't think of anything right now. And, for me, this is a shame that a religious group which was decimated because of their religion during World War II, they are doing it to the other people. I'm not saying what Hamas did was correct or right, but at the same time, what they are doing, that's not right either. Two errors don't make one correction. In the meantime, on the West Bank, they have been expanding and expanding and expanding, and literally the rest of the world is mum. On Ukraine, Trump administration has already given to Russia all that area which they already control right now in this war. But interestingly, Russia, which happens to be one of the two superpowers or was superpower, within 3 years they could not even take over this country, which shows actually that determination of the people. And I think that should be the lesson for the other elected people that don't underestimate the people and their determination to resist anything like that. Any any of those issues which could be catastrophic for the coming generations. Sudan, civil war is still going on, and nobody's talking about it. And also at the same time, there are some small wars going on. I just read about that there was a deal reached in between Congo and Rwanda, because they have lost hundreds and thousands of people in last couple of years because of Tutsi and the other tribe, Hutu. They had, cultural and other differences, and they had their generations and generations of, they were living fine, but then this war broke out, and then all of a sudden the Tutsis were the target, and they ended up going into Rwanda, Congo, and from Congo they created MS-23, and now MS-23 took part of Congo, of Rwanda. So now it is like, no, they went into Rwanda. From Rwanda they took part of Congo, and now they have reached a deal. So those are the diplomatic side. Now coming to again to United States, some of the things which are happening here, the cuts in research, the cuts in medical, the cuts in immunization. Basically you pick up anything and the government is cutting it. And I can tell you right now, this show, keep it in mind. You can come back and listen to it again. The billionaire will get more millions, and you and I, we will end up on the other side of the stick, getting either nothing or maybe pennies. And the tariffs are actually going to hit us in coming months. Why? Because once Trump won the election, the businesses actually got that let's get the shipment before the tariffs hit the ground. So tariffs were announced in the first week of April, and since then you can see back and forth, same thing with the Dow Jones, up and down, up and down. The merchandise which comes from other countries, it will not be enough. Even the President Donald Trump is saying you should tell your kids to have only 2 toys instead of having 30 toys. What is interesting is this is a Republican Party which always said that, no, we want to give power to the people. And here, the power from the people is being taken away, and nobody is talking about on either side. Yeah, there are few voices coming out, but not that much. Like they say, deafening silence. Those people who understand what it is, that's what it is right now. Because today it is your right, tomorrow it is going to be mine, and day after tomorrow it is going to be everybody's. By the way, before I go, the Justice Department and Pam Bondi just said that the journalists who report anonymously about their news, where they got it from, they will be forced to share their source of information, and if they don't, then they will be penalized and their notes are and should be accessible, which is one more step towards dictatorship. Like I was talking at the first section of the show, good night and good luck.